This is the 24/11/16. You know, I was supposed to be in Ireland working farm horses, and also I was on a peace mission, right? Bill Clinton. When I arrived to Ireland, I went to a farm site, and there was a full-blood stallion and a Draftmore or gray horse, right? And I worked them both. I felt endangered, to be honest. What I also can see on a video right now, that the horse noticed something, I noticed something, and stuff like that. Anyway, then I'm asked to meet somebody in a rose garden. I don't know if there's any rose garden in around Dublin. So maybe that rose garden is in the United States, right, or even England. The Dublin town looked like Dublin town, but you know, things can move fast. Anyway, then I was in day off in Dublin, and I went to a museum, and Bono showed up, and we spoke shortly about a picture called The Rose of Tranle, and we were both red in our faces, flushing up, and it was very uncomfortable. And I was in the early 20s, so I wasn't doing, maybe I was experiencing, but not in kind of these ways. So he went off pretty fast, and then I went back to the farm. I also made some chorus taping in a studio in Dublin, small studio, with a red-haired young man. And then I was putting in 2 ads in 2 music magazines to try and set up a meeting with Bono. And in one of the ads was an appointment where I said, like, could you meet me in the small bookshop? And I was most experienced in those kind of ways, so I actually went there before the meeting appointment and checked out who was around, And funny enough, the people I met were Gary, Adams, and McGuinness. And I didn't never go to the bookshop, but I read in a newspaper, lie or not, I can't tell, that the bookshop was bombed. Right? Can't tell if there was any. I think there was one hurt, maybe, if it's true. So actually, I didn't feel so good about all this U2 stuff and the peace mission at that time. Then we went up to a beach 1 hour from Dublin, or some location unknown. And I was away from the other people because there was a small Tivoli at the beach that were closing down. So people had left the beach, which I kept wondering why they took some children there, 2 kids, when the fun was gone, So actually, then I see some small shadows of people walking far away, and I can hear the one screaming, Kristin Rose of Tranle. And then I knew it was Bono that was being on the beach with someone, and then he fell down. And then it started to get real blurry for me. I couldn't see anything. And I feared for my life, and was actually, ready to, whatever. So, and I think, after reverse of all this, I think that he fell down, right? And I felt there was one more falling down. And I was devastated. And when we went back, everybody was silent for months, and everybody was frightened. And I was so stubborn and angry about all this that I didn't notice. I just walked and walked and walked. I was doing fences, and I walked. My knees were hurt. I couldn't hardly walk. I walked in pain. You won't believe it. And I was just angry as hell, and then there was a horse show where we went down, and I also went into Dublin, and that doesn't matter. But anyway, then my text work was abused, right? Then I later checked out that some of the stolen stolen tapes from rehearsal of the U2 ended up in Spain or Portuguese, right? I actually bought one of them. And then we realized that maybe there was a copy band around, also protected by Denmark's radio, which is a fucking big state influence, tax fraud, spying, whatever. And then we knew that there would be something about that. There was a kind of organized text royalty casting copycat thing going on. And whatever the musician was still the same after. If the DNA of the bono was the same as in 87 as in 81, we don't know. Because I was warning FBI about what I thought was threats on YouTube, because they didn't pay the royalty and they didn't communicate in the way that it's supposed to. So actually I thought, like, I wonder if they're under pressure from the IRA. So and that also counts for some of the other musicians in Ireland and England, right? So actually we began pretty early to kind of find out what was going on, and from being, you know, from this just being like kind of, I mean, I came from Cold War. I have to be honest. I came from Cold War and was aware of what was going on. And I had asked Bill Clinton if I could try and make a peace mission for Northern Ireland. And I worked with a lot of people. So you could say that about the musician, the actress, the singers, the dancers. For me, it was non-entrance world. It was no longer kind of option to become a singing songwriter. Even that, actually, when they crossed the royalty laws and the spy laws and the hacking laws, then there just came in a kind of file for fraud, corruption, espionage and stuff like that. But it was no longer like that I was suffering anything because the musician abusing me or exploring me, because they'd done that all my life, also before I was in Ireland, especially in Denmark. So that was not really news. I just felt like now the position I have in intelligence and diplomacy, now if they cross the line of unforgiving artist fraud, or then I'm filing for them, and that's what I did actually. Actually, I think Gary Adams might have been a problem in this case, So actually, we are going through a lot of pictures before and after, or after, or something like that. We are going over if for some it was a pretty strange commune-supported concert with Sting with lot of money. Sting is tax inquired. U2 is tax inquired. Denmark's radio Trooper is inquired. So you could say that I was not the only one getting threatened by these big companies as Warner's, Paramount, Denmark's radio, BBC, Spyglasses, Iceland, AM, Virgin, and so on. They just kept coming with their Spycast copycat thing, right? But God, I tell you one thing, I was so afraid in Ireland, I can't even express it. And the only friend I had was this Draftmore colored thing named George, was my only friend. And the full-blood, color-filled, brown, fast-moving racehorse stallion was also my friend, right? I had two friends and their kids, of course. It was fucking frightening, I'll tell you that.